And a lot of enlightened people in the West recognize the logic of our case.
Right, so we're looking at some more visuals of It's a very energetic welcome for Prime Minister Narendra Modi by the diaspora. It's becoming increasingly characteristic of the kind of welcome that is accorded to Prime Minister. Ambassador Rajiv Bhatt has talked about so much, but your take on these visuals that we're looking at, people of all age groups seem to have a connect with the Prime Minister. He also spontaneously goes around, puts his signatures, autographs also on papers. What do you make of it? The leaders of so many countries all gathering in Johannesburg. How do these visuals stand out?
No, they are extraordinary. I think we have to recognize that. I think our Prime Minister is as popular here as he is abroad, and these visuals are a confirmation of this. The point is that the people you are seeing on the screen are of origin from different parts of India.
Mm-hmm.
So they see in him a kind of figure which really personifies India. And yes, you are absolutely right. I think he very much connects with everybody, the children, the women, the young people, and you feel happy about this. I think this aspect of public diplomacy is important. It helps to make India's appeal stronger, and so when we go to sell some idea or some product or some technology, I think hopefully the acceptability would be more. He is an asset when it comes to diplomacy.
Indeed.
That has to be recognized.
Indeed. Diaspora is actually a living bridge, as it were, connecting different cultures, countries, and societies. On that note, Professor, if we can come to you again on this broadcast, as we stay on these visuals of the Prime Minister interacting with the diaspora in Johannesburg, your thoughts on the people-to-people ties, how they keep the relations on a steady keel today and tomorrow?
Yes, I think this is really extraordinary compared to the other dignitaries who have gone there. The Indian diaspora is the one which has maintained its identity and also its India Connect. It looks towards Indian leader as also their leader in some sense, not despite the fact they are the South African first. And such connect with important section of South African community, which is, as I said earlier, it is more advanced than the white community in educational and professional areas, is very important resource for India to continue its relations in multiple dimensions.
At a time, Professor, when immigration and immigrants have become a contentious issue, do you think the Indian diaspora everywhere, including South Africa, offer themselves as a model immigrant community who assimilate well within the cultures they find themselves in?
Yes, they identify with the locals, except in the Kenya where we had some issues earlier. We don't have issues now. They were part of the mainstream population. They sided with their concern, their problem. They don't seek a special place over there, over and above them. And so they are well, as you said, well assimilated and accepted community. They are not involved into the crimes and into, act of unacceptable acts. So they are very much well received by the local community, and they play important part in those countries. They come up in social economic ladders, and they are part of the mainstream.
Right. Professor Dubey, also we've been talking about the manner in which expectations really rank high at the leadership level. But look at these visuals of people, ordinary people of Indian descent connecting with Prime Minister. A very important congregation is happening. The G20 is happening in Johannesburg, South Africa. How do you look at their expectations as they must stand vis-a-vis their own nation? What would they expect from India, and what would they expect from a grouping like the G20 as far as their own future in a new land?
I think they are for and foremost a South African. There is no issue about that. They are a very committed South African citizen, but they also look for their cultural and civilizational links towards India. They have very good memory, they have very good desire to connect with India, and they are their second preference remain India. You can see that even in the cricket matches and other, how Indian South Africans are engaged in enjoying those matches between India and South Africa. They clap even when the Indian do very well over there. And so this is something, a major resource for India over there. And one needs to promote that and cultivate that through several cultural centers and by promoting people-to-people connect and diaspora serving as a catalyst for that.
Right. Indeed. And as we approach the last leg of our broadcast, as it were, Professor, your last concluding comments, as it were, on what you expect to take place in the summit and on the margins of it from an Indian perspective in terms of the Prime Minister's bilaterals or his sessions that he will take part in at the summit itself.
I think India would like to make its presence felt as the one who champions the cause of the global South. It will play its role into different component of the summit, all the three area where the Prime Minister Modi is speaking, to bring India's leadership in terms of Southern solidarity and conveying to the developed countries that the global South, including India, should be part of the global economic considerations. Also, the multilateral or bilateral forums, as Ambassador Bhatia said, issues like Quad could be discussed as well. But the most important, in my opinion, remains that Southern solidarity, the call for South-South cooperation, the call for global South solidarity, and the message in G20 that we need to work together to change the world, to make it more equitable, more inclusive, where the global South has to stand and communicate its stand in this forum.
Right. Professor Dubey, as we move towards the conclusion of the program, I'll also request our producers if we can do a quick recap of those visuals that have come in today from Johannesburg. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival in South Africa. If you can play those visuals on our screens, just to recap the developments that have taken place. Tomorrow, day after, of course, the focus is going to be on the G20 Summit. These are visuals of Prime Minister Modi's receiving a special welcome by the members of diaspora, engaging with different age groups, giving his autograph, people carrying the national flag, welcoming Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the hotel. These are visuals that came in just a short while ago from Johannesburg. Let's also hear in the energy that really came in. We can have the audio from this welcome that Prime Minister received in Johannesburg. And the visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier reaching South Africa at the airport. Special cultural welcome according to Indian diaspora who excitedly had queued up to meet Prime Minister Modi. People of all age groups engaged with Prime Minister.
All right, so as we approach the end of our special broadcast of the Prime Minister's ongoing visit to South Africa for the 20th G20 Summit, can we go across to our guest one last time on this broadcast? To you, Professor Dubey, your thoughts, concluding thoughts on the optics and outcomes from this year's G20 Summit, especially from an Indian perspective, Professor.
Yes, this visit by Prime Minister Modi over there will strengthen India's position in G20, will highlight global South issues over there. It will further strengthen India's bilateral relations with South Africa, including with the diaspora, and at people-to-people level, connects will be stronger. It also gives opportunity to talk to other world leaders who are over there and some of the issues that surrounds the world right now, and also the India-Africa major issues like organizing the next leg of India-Africa Forum Summits will also be a agenda that Prime Minister Modi will be discussing with some of the African leaders using this visit over there.
On that note, thank you very much, Professor Ajay Kumar Dubey, for joining us through the course of the program. Also, thanks to Ambassador Rajiv Kumar Bhatia, who joined us earlier in the broadcast. And with that, it's a wrap on this special broadcast. Ramesh.
Indeed, but news continues here on DD India. You can catch all the latest updates on our social media, mobile and digital platforms. Thanks for watching.
Namaskar.